Hey, I'm Chris from Make Everything, and today we're going to be adding a very simple but really valuable upgrade to my milling machine with this DRO on the Quill. Check it out. All right, so here is the basic Quill and Quill scale on a Bridgeport style milling machine. This one's a jet. I've got a Bridgeport over there. And basically we've got a ruler here, and then as you move the Quill down, you've got this block, and you can kind of refer to the ruler to, get some sort of measurement. Now, obviously the accuracy here is minimal, but to counter that, you've got the screw, which goes down in, I think, tenths. So you could technically bring this up to exactly where you want to be. As you can see, it's not particularly fast, but then you could have this thing bottom out at a specific spot. Now, for me, a lot of times I'm doing a specific blind hole drilling or milling, so this doesn't really work. I have a hard time kind of keeping track of it, and also if you change your setup in any way where this is not zero, you then have to do math to count from here to here, and that's where this DRO is going to come into play. Now, in order to install this thing, all we got to do is take off this wheel, and then we can get to where the ruler is, and we can start on the install. Now, if you're not familiar with what a DRO is a digital readout, and I have them on the X and Y on both of my mills, and the XY on my lathe as well. And basically what it does is it gives you a digital display of where your tool is or where your table is at any given time. So in order to install this one, we have to take the ruler off. And with the ruler off, we can get ready to install some of the components to put this thing on. I'll show you what it comes with. So all the pieces that this thing comes with are here. So you've got a block, which kind of gets you offset from where the ruler was. And then this is the mount that the actual DRO goes onto. There are some little clips and bolts and stuff here. And then this little cylinder goes inside the kind of Quill indicator. And this is what locks this whole thing together. So you have to do this in kind of a specific sequence because some of these nuts and bolts are captured behind plates. So for instance, this little thing has to be bolted on to this plate before we can attach it to the back of the gauge. And then we have to put this block on before we can put the offset on. Something to note, you want to have this set screw facing down when you do this, and you'll see why in a little bit, but we want to make sure this stays out of the way. What this set screw is for is it spreads this apart so it can properly wedge itself in the Quill stop, and you'll see that once we get a little bit further in. Now that you've got this bolted together, you can put this on the back of the actual digital display, and there are a couple of holes here, so you may need to put this on this set of holes or the other set of holes depending on how your machine is set up. I think I know how mine's going to be, so I'm going to offset mine so that the plate is sticking out to the right and use the two holes right here. So now this is assembled, this thing slides, I've got the little pin on the back, and I'll show you how this is going to interact with the Quill stop. So this little pin here in the back is going to be sitting in that, and then basically what's going to happen is this gauge is going to be locked in place, and then this is going to go up and down. So now we can put in the block and the offset, which is going to hold this. So you can see kind of where we're headed. This is going to go on here. This is then going to go on there like that. And then it's going to hold the DRO in place. So the next step is going to be adding the spacer block, which is basically going to push this mount off of the actual Quill and the head here. Otherwise, it wouldn't clear this. Now this is going exactly where your ruler was. Now the screws that we're holding my ruler on are too short, but it comes with screws that should fit your head. And you can just put these in. They're little cap screws. And this might need to be adjusted. I'm just going to sort of eyeball it and put this on, and then I can make adjustments as needed. There is a slot in this because you're going to have to make sure this all lines up. But once you get the mount on, you're not going to be able to get to this to adjust it. So you got to kind of go by trial and error. In my case, this screw's a little bit too long and it's hitting my auto stop. So I just got to grind a little bit off this. I can put it back in. So before I mount this on that offset plate, I'm just going to put the actual digital gauge on there. And the way this thing goes on is there's these little brackets that hold it in place. And these also have a little bit of tolerance around them so that you can adjust as needed. I'm going to mount these on and then we'll put the gauge in it. Okay, so I've got my gauge and my mount all set up. We've got that pin in the back, which is going to go in this hole. And I can bring up my quill to the top, bring this up, and then you can see there's actually some slots on this bracket, and we're going to use those to sort of self-align this. Basically what I'm going to do is put in a piece of hardware up top, put one of these screws in. And now I don't want to make these super tight. I'm going to just kind of cinch them a little bit, and then I'm going to run the quill up and down, and essentially it's going to sort of self-adjust this thing and move the quill, move the gauge over as needed. So if the gauge needs to be moved over left or right, it's going to do so kind of as I move this thing down. The whole thing is you don't want to have any extra strain on the quill. That's unnecessary. So you want this thing to be able to float nice and free. Looks pretty good. I'll tighten these up. Now the last thing to do is tighten up that angled set screw that's on that wedge on the back. This thing is installed. Turn it on and see that it works. And the last thing to do is just to put your hand wheel back on. Now on my other machine, I have a Bridgeport with the same thing. The hand wheel actually rubbed against this and I had to grind a little bit off the side of the hand wheel, but in this case on the Jet, works perfect. Hand wheel still functions if I needed to. And I've got my gauge. This uses a CR2032 battery, and I found with these things, this battery came in it, and I feel like the display gets dim pretty quickly if these batteries wear out. So I'm just going to put the spare that came with it in there, and immediately I can see that it's a lot easier to read. The display is much darker, so if your display starts to fade out, just change out your battery. It also, I found it affects the speed that this thing reads out. If the battery is fresh, the display is a lot faster. So one of the complaints about this gauge online is that it's not as fast as I guess it could be, but it's about $100 and the closest competitor is I think closer to $300 and it has the same exact complaints. So I think it's just the nature of this. And really I use this for setting a positive depth, or I creep up to it real slow. And you can see if I'm moving real slow, it actually does count, in tenths. So the gauge has a couple of modes on it. It's got this incremental mode. You can set a preset digit, preset number, and it's got a 0 set, so you can sort of just zero it out. You can turn off the incremental mode. I typically am just basically, what I'll do is I'll touch my tool off against the piece, zero it out, and then I can set how deep I want to drill or counter bore or counter sink, and let this thing kind of count for me. So it's obviously far more precise, and what's nice about it is that you can still go ahead and use your auto stop if you were to put this thing up and then set your machine to have power feed down, and you were to get down to the bottom. Once it hit this, it would automatically pop that down feed and it would pop back up. So this doesn't limit the use of your mill in any way. It's still exactly the way it was before we did it, but now we've just got a nice little piece of technology on the front, which is just going to help you work more accurately for $100. Seems like a no-brainer. All right, so that about does it for this video. Now, full disclosure, this is the second time I've installing one of these because I've actually been using the exact same setup on my Bridgeport for the last almost 2 years. This thing is awesome, and I've had this one sitting around. I really wanted to get it installed, and I noticed when I bought the first one, there was very little information about these online, so I thought I'd make a video, share with other people, and maybe you can get one for your machine. This is a Bridgeport style mill, but it does fit on a regular Bridgeport, J-head milling machine, as you can see, and it works really good. The one thing you got to look out for is I don't believe it has an auto off feature, so if you don't turn it off when you're done, it'll just stay on and drain the battery. So keep some of those 2032 batteries kind of around. And it's a great little tool. It's about $100. I think it's well worth it because if you misdrill or mismake one part, you're usually going to lose that $100. So make the investment, make your tool that much better, and to keep using it. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you want to see more videos like this, more videos about tools and upgrades to my machines, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Leave a comment if you have any questions or tips about something like this. And that's about it. Follow me on Instagram right here at Make Everything Shop if you want to see what I'm up to on a day-to-day basis. And thanks so much for watching. See you on the next video.